African-American intellectual.
A place where you go to cut your teeth.
They serve as bridges between our storied past and our present progress.
Founded out of necessity, sustained through service and sacrifice.
Historically, Black colleges and universities have always been the heartbeat of this country's fight for justice.
Whether it was sit-ins in Greensboro,
bus boycotts in Tallahassee,
or protests in Orangeburg,
HBCUs are and always have been the soul of the nation.
Historically Black colleges and universities built America's Black middle class, and Joe Biden knows that's the backbone of our country.
He has the boldest presidential plan for HBCUs in our history, investing $70 billion in HBCUs and minority-serving institutions, lowering costs for students, and building world-class facilities worthy of our world-class talent.
Joe Biden is not only investing in us, but investing in a better America.
When HBCUs rise, we all rise. We are HBCU students for Biden.
Welcome to this Biden-Harris campaign event, Shop Talk with HBCU athletes. Please welcome HBCU students for Biden co-chair, William Fairfax.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to our special Shop Talk tonight. We're so glad to have you all here. My name is William Fairfax. I am one of the national HBCU students for Biden co-chair and a proud alumnus of Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. It is incredibly special that I'm welcoming you to our special edition of Shop Talk featuring Isaiah Thomas and Matt Kemp with HBCU student athletes during our National HBCU Homecoming Week. This is the first time in the history of a presidential election that a presidential campaign has put HBCUs at the forefront of its campaign with its leadership teams, with the plans and policies that Senator Joe Biden and Senator Kamala Harris have put out, and making sure that HBCU students and alumni are at the forefront of a campaign that is going to change the nation. And we're so happy to have you here for this very, very important conversation amongst Black men on the importance of voting, racial equity, and how we're going to push America further. Without further ado, though, I want to introduce Luke Lewall, who will moderate and host this conversation today. Take it away, Luke.
Hey, thanks. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here. This is such an important time. Hi, everyone. My name is Luke Lewall. I'm the founder and CEO of HBCU Buzz. About a decade ago, I started HBCU Buzz with the hopes of, creating outreach and highlighting and showcasing everything that HBCU students and alumni are doing. And, just to be able to jump on this stage and have a conversation about this upcoming election is so important. It's so important to me. It's so important to my community. And that's why I'm here. And that's why I just want to take the time to sit with some dope people, some dope athletes, like former athletes like myself and current athletes from HBCUs, and just kind of have this conversation and talk about this election, talk about what's at stake, talk about what's important for us, for me, and people that look like us and people that represent everything that we love. So I'm going to introduce everyone. I just kind of want to get to know who they are and just tell us your introduction, tell the people who you are and what you're looking for in this conversation. And we could start with Isaiah Thomas. You already know who he is. So I just want him to come in and kind of give us his spiel and talk about, why he's here and why this is important.
Hello, everyone. I'm Isaiah Thomas, and I'm originally from the west side of Chicago. 6 brothers, 2 sisters. Spent the first 19 years of my life in Chicago, and most of my adulthood in Detroit. Those are the 2 cities that I'm most known for representing. And when you talk about, the things that were going on the west side of Chicago when I was growing up, Malcolm X College, the only Malcolm X College, I believe, in the United States, is on the west side of Chicago. Martin Luther King, when he moved to Chicago in '66, he moved 4 blocks from my house. My mom worked for Fred Hampton. I was one of the kids who got the free breakfast and also the free lunch. Deborah and Linda, who were very good friends of Chairman Fred, fed me some mornings and always gave me a little extra on the side. So that's kind of a little bit of myself. And I'm happy to be here with all of you tonight and looking forward to sharing my experiences in life, my experiences in sport, and hoping to inspire some of you and with your experiences.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. I just want to jump in and ask Michael Sims, Morehouse, come on, let us know who you are and tell us what you got going on.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Sims. I'm a senior quarterback at Morehouse College. I would like to also start off just by thanking the Biden-Harris campaign for the opportunity to serve on this panel with such distinguished Black men. And I'm just looking forward to engaging in great conversation.
Dope, 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 dope. Blake, I've been down to FAMU, man, and I love what you guys got going on. So introduce yourself and tell us who you are.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Blake Simpson. I'm a third-year agribusiness student, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a cornerback at the illustrious Florida A&M University. I'm just so happy and grateful that the Biden-Harris campaign chose me to speak at this wonderful event. And I'm just happy to be here for National HBCU Homecoming Week. And like my brother said before me, I'm just happy to be engaged in a conversation today and looking forward to what we'll be talking about.
Awesome, awesome. So I think Matt's here. So Matt, I want you to introduce yourself, tell everybody who you are, and you know, just let us know. Matt, are you there?
Can you hear me now? You hear me?
Yeah. There we
Sorry,
go.
sorry guys. I'm not really good with these computer things, man. This is foreign to me. But my name is Matt Kemp. I'm from Midwest City, Oklahoma. I currently live in Prosper, Texas. I'm just excited to come here and to join you guys and to speak about some of the issues that we have and to share conversations with a great group of young men and a legend like Isaiah Thomas. So just happy to be here and tackle some of these situations that we want to talk about.
Awesome, man. Well, let's dive right into it. Part of the reason why we're having this conversation is just because I think it's important for us to just talk about what's at stake with this election, talk about what you're seeing in your communities, how we can help. I think, with the HBCU Buzz platform, it's always important that we highlight and showcase stories, hear what you have to say, what's going on in your community. So I want to start with the students first. I'm going to start with the athletes and student athletes and just let us know what's going on in your community. When I saw what was going on with George Floyd and his murder, I was real disgusted at, how the police handled that situation. So I just kind of want to know what issues are you facing in your communities and what are some of your top issues for this upcoming election?
I guess I'll start with that one. Some issues in my community, well, pretty much the community of this entire country, pretty much. Kind of like what you said, I was disgusted by the way the police handled that situation with George Floyd. Seeing it all over TV, CNN, ESPN, all that. So I kind of was just sitting back thinking like, what can I do to try to make change to this? And I organized and planned a peaceful protest here in Tallahassee, Florida, where we marched the streets of Tallahassee straight from Florida State University to the Capitol, where I spoke to a group of students and faculty from Florida A&M and Florida State University. And I kind of got in contact with the Tallahassee Police Department, so we won't have any issues with blocking the streets off and all that stuff during the protest. And this was kind of my way of having my voice heard, my community's voices heard, and kind of just harp on the importance of this upcoming election. And for us, I believe it's a do or die situation. And at this point, we have no choice but to vote in this upcoming election and vote the right way.
I totally agree. I mean, some of the issues that we face as African Americans, especially as students, have been troubling. I mean, education is one of my top issues. Racial injustice is one of my top 5, I would say, the top 1 if there is only one. But, you know, I think showcasing and doing what we're doing right now is extremely important, just trying to find ways to have the conversation and make sure we're getting our message out there. So I kind of want to turn it over to Isaiah to just tell me what you've been seeing in your community and some of the issues that are important to you and why this election is so important.
Well, what I've been seeing in my community, it has a historical arc. And as I said to you, I was born on the west side of Chicago. And what I'm seeing is just a reoccurrence of a playbook that's been happening to us classified Blacks in this country, African Americans, Negro, color. It's been this way since its inception, since 1776. And we've been fighting for equal rights, civil rights, voting rights. And historically, it happens every 20 or 30 so years where we collectively come together and say we're going to make a change in the system. And this is a system, and I think we all have to, since we're all student athletes here or former athletes, I'll see if I can put it in basketball or football or sports context. This is a system that is set up for us not to succeed. And it's important that we understand the rules of the system. It's important that we understand the Dred Scott ruling in 1857, where it talks about us not being full participants or not being able to be citizens in this United States. We have fought for voting rights. We have fought for equal rights. And now we're fighting again to be a part and to be accepted in this system. So when you talk about this community, I critique the system and the rules that we're playing under. And I think it's important for all of us who have been classified as people of color. In my lifetime, I've been Negro, I've been Black, I've been Afro-American, I've been African-American, and now I'm Black again. So these labels, these classifications, it takes us out of our citizenship in terms of being full participants as Americans. And I would just say to any of you who have traveled outside of this country, when you travel outside of this country, does it say on your passport Black? It says you're an American. But when we get back in this country, all of us are put in these color-coded caste systems of Black, white, red, yellow, blue, whatever color it is. Now, our culture is our culture, but I think it's important that we truly understand the system that we are in. So us as Black men, classified people of color, yes, we're voting, but at the same time, it's important that we understand what we're voting for, why we're voting, and the fundamentals of this system that has been set up to basically be against us, and we have to change this system. The only way we can change this system is to vote and continue to fight to become full citizens, not second-class citizens. It's a patriarchal white male society that dominates and that's on top. The white male has never had to fight for voting rights, equal rights, civil rights. All these things that we are fighting for, because we have a little melanin in our skin, I think it's important that we understand the system, continue to critique the system, and change the system so we can become full participants in this system, level the playing field, so now we can play in the game. That's what's been going on in my historical community.
Wow, that's so powerful. I think the way we hold our vote hostage and how we equalize the value of our skin is very important in this country. And Matt, I kind of have a question for you. I just want you to talk about what you've been seeing in pop culture as far as leaders in pop culture trying to urge us to basically hold our vote hostage. And I just kind of want to get your take on that and why the Black vote is so important and what that means to you.
Well, I mean, the black vote is important because, like you said, this is our future. This is our kids' future. You know, just so many crazy things going on in this world, and you know, we have the power to be able to, you know, get some of that back and to be able to, you know, make a difference, especially in our communities. You know, where I live, you see a lot of kids struggling, and you know, we can't control where we're from. We can't control what we come up in. But I feel like in my community and where I live in Texas, a lot of kids, you know, their education is just, it's just not the same. You know, you got schools that are built right next to each other, and they got this red line just separating them. And you got this school that has millions of dollars of football fields that cost $50 million, and you got this school over here that's more in the inner cities that don't have books and you know, proper food and all these things. And I just feel like, you know, it's built for us to fail, and as African Americans, and that's something that we need to change and we need to take control of.
I completely agree. I mean, growing up, I'm from PG County, Maryland, and one of the things about PG County that most, and which I would say is probably the most dominant sport-driven county in the country. I don't know if y'all seen the documentary, but one of the things I seen growing up is, depending on what block you lived on, depend on, you know, your status in the sense of like economics. Like one block you had the hood, the next block it was a rich neighborhood, the next block you had a private school, and we were all intertwined. But we recognized that there was the issue with the system as far as how one school could make so much and give so much impact into the community. The resources were just not there. But, you know, we kind of figured out ways to just kind of push it through. But I definitely understand your sentiments. And that's why I was going to ask, you know, the Morehouse student here, just to kind of tell us about his journey, you know, landing at Morehouse and what that means to our community, and how, you know, it's been in your community and what you've been seeing as far as racial injustices in this country.
Okay, hello, Mr. Lewall. So coming from Detroit, Michigan, I've actually kind of had a different experience. I've actually been in public schools and private schools. So I know kind of exactly like what Mr. Kemp is referring to with the disparity in education. So like that's a real big problem that I definitely, you know, believe that needs to be changed. I think, you know, education is definitely supposed to be some more racial equity in regards to education. So, but landing at Morehouse has definitely been a great experience. Just growing as a Black man around all Black men has definitely been powerful and a big learning environment. You know, I definitely would recommend Morehouse to a lot of students, or just HBCUs to a lot of Black students coming up. It's definitely just a different environment to just grow within your own people, within your own community, and actually just impact the surrounding community, like for sure. Like with Morehouse in Atlanta, we are definitely like more hands-on within the community, making sure like our voice is felt, getting out with different various initiatives, just trying to impact the community the best way that we can. So, you know, Morehouse has definitely been a great experience for sure.
One of the things I can say is when you attend Black colleges, universities like Morehouse, you're the guy that people look at and say, okay, he made it out, he did what he can do, and I can be him, right? And I think that's what's at stake with this election, when you have, you know, Kamala Harris on a ticket, and we kind of go back and forth and say, hey, this is somebody that looks like me. This is someone that went to a school like me, and I can actually get there. Talk about why that's so important to you, your community, and then we can kind of go forward from there.
Coming from the inner city, is definitely like a lot of people that don't have the opportunity to even like get out of the city or even make it as far as Atlanta. So like for me, even going back to my youth football team and just showing them my face that that someone can make it out, someone can go to college and achieve a quality education. Just being that face that kids can look up to and just look at them and like, okay, it's possible for me to reach those same goals and reach those same heights. So I definitely always try to carry myself as a leader, and I've actually been hands-on with Morehouse and the Atlanta community, volunteering with elementary schools and various events like that, munch and lunches and just mentorship programs. So I can actually see that, you know, kids are behavior will change in school if they see a Morehouse guy comes and eat lunch with him. Like a teacher will say like, wow, like you really impacted that kid that day. Like his behavior has changed just because he sees someone of good character and good nature. So I definitely always try to carry myself in a way that kids will always look up to me and just, you know, always be a great influence.
That's amazing. I mean, I think, and just to switch gears a little bit, I know I sometimes I stumble on this word and I'm like, hey, should I even mention it? But our current situation with Donald Trump in this country has gotten everyone on edge. It's gotten our community on edge. And I just want to hear from Isaiah for a quick second to tell me how he feels about, you know, our next steps for this country and how we can dispel some of the issues that we're currently facing, especially with how the president is handling the pandemic. And what are your thoughts on that? Isaiah, you there?
Again,
or if anyone wants to jump, go ahead.
Again, I'll always speak from a historical standpoint, and I'll just try to add some context. You know, right now we're in the fourth quarter of this game, and there's 12 minutes left on the clock. And there has been, again, since 1776, this is a country that has fought to exclude us and not have us participate and be in the game. And we've fought every century to continue to be in the game, and we've made strides. And we're in the final minutes of this game. It's 12 minutes to go in the game, 12 days left. And how do we win this game? We win it by showing up to vote. We put a lot of work in since the 1700s, since the 1600s. Some of your families came over as slaves. Some of your families were already here. But this is a country, again, because the little melanin we have in our skin has said, no, we're going to take this country from you. So we've been fighting for centuries, and we got 12 days left. And all we have to do is show up and participate and come together and stick to the plan. Stick to the game plan of everyone who's been laying it out since the 1700s of how we can become full and equal citizens in this United States. And if we don't show up to vote, brothers, and if we don't vote for the Biden-Harris ticket, then all that work that we've done for centuries goes down the drain. Because when you talk about the Trump administration and what they've put forward, they have been very clear about their intentions on the Supreme Court, through law, and also through legislation. It has been legislated against us. It has been judicialized against us. And the executive branch is making it clear what they want this America to be and how we are going to continue to be treated in this America. So we got 12 days. Grab a friend, grab everybody. All of you on here talking about, yeah, I'm in HBCUs. Well, your moms and your dads, your grandfathers and your grandmamas, they fought hard for you to be able to have an education. Remember, a lot of them were denied. My mom was denied. My father went to the military. That's how he got an education. But so many people have been denied, and don't take this moment for granted. You are not allowed to sit on the sideline. You must participate. You have to show up. We must win this game. This is the last quarter. Persevere, overcome, stay committed, and show up. That's my message.
Wow. I loved everything you said, man. I think it's important that we do everything we can to get people excited to come out to the polls and vote. That's why HBCU Buzz, we're constantly trying to be a part of the conversation. We're trying to get our students out to the polls and show up in, great numbers. And I think a part of it is just trying to win over the idea that their vote is not important. The idea that, people are trying to create this narrative that, oh, who knows what's on the other side, or I can't trust this person, I can't trust that person.
Luke, brother,
but there's actually,
Luke,
go ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm a little older than you. And this is where I speak from experience and from an old head. I have seen this game be played before, and I've heard these messages before where they disconnect us from each other. And the messaging is so clear. And had I not seen it before, I wouldn't be able to speak to it. This is old game that they're running on a new generation. And I'm begging this new generation, don't make the same mistake that we made as old heads by getting disconnected. Y'all got an international community coming out from every part of the globe saying Black Lives Matter. They're fighting for you in Italy. They're fighting for you in Russia. They're fighting for you all over the world because they're saying there's something wrong in this America. And if y'all give up and don't show up, then we fail for the okie doke again.
I completely agree. It's so funny. The more I hear you talk, the more I'm just like, wow, it's very important. I think the fact that it's important is an understatement. I think the value of everything that we've done in this country over the past couple of years and trying to diminish that by not getting out to vote is the issue. And I do want to open up to the rest of the panelists to try to figure out and have that conversation of what we think would resonate the most. I think having these conversations, hearing from people like you to tell people like, hey, this is important. This is not something we can, overlook. And I just want to kind of hear from the rest of the panelists to just kind of hear their thoughts on strategic ways we can get people out. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess I'll go. I mean,
gotta call it.
Yeah, nobody wanted to go. Yeah, I mean, man, Isaiah hit it right on the. I don't even know how you can follow that, man.
I was like, man.
He's an old head. He's seen a lot more than we have, but he has a lot of experience, and all the things he said are straight facts and things that need to happen. Like this year is and like he said, in 12 days, this is the most important time of our lives. It's for our children's children and for years to come, man. This is our time to absolutely have our voices heard and to be able to change the world the way we want it to be. Like I keep saying, like, and it's all, and obviously, pouring into our kids as much as we can, man, because they're our future. Like, they don't have access to all these different things, and just educating everybody on what's going on in the world and making a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. And I think trying to understand the issue between the differences or the space between those that are undecided or those that kind of don't see the value and the importance of it is what's the most troubling task. And I kind of want to hear from the students. Talk to me at FAMU. Tell me.
When I was younger, I used to be the same way, man. I used to be, about voting. Like, I didn't know who to vote for. I didn't know anything about what was going on. But I know now, just being informed by my grandparents and my mom and all my family members, just this is important, man. This is something that's going to follow us for a long time. And what's going on in the world is not okay. And we have to make a change. And I just want to see better for us and for everybody in this world.
Totally agree. And I think when I jumped out there to vote, my first election was in 2008 and we won. And then my second election was in 2012 and we won. And, this last election that we lost, that was the first time I actually experienced loss. And to Isaiah's point, I haven't been here enough to really understand the value and understand what's at stake. But I do feel like, with our leadership and our ability to have these conversations and reach the masses and being able to kind of bring people like Isaiah to the table and kind of instill that information in us is kind of what's going to help turn the needle, especially for the Biden-Harris campaign. I think it's important that people like us are constantly talking to the youth and talking to our following and fans and updating them on what's important and what's at stake. And I kind of want to hear from the students. I want to hear from FAMU. I want you to tell us what's at stake for you and why and how we can achieve closing that gaps for students that are kind of undecided or don't think this election is important.
Yes, although I'm not that old, for a long time I've been hearing my vote doesn't count. Why do I need to vote? And that's one of the main reasons why education on voting for this year especially is extremely important. And something I've been trying to harp on at my school is trying to get people of leadership to I hate to say this, but it's like to pretty much force people to vote, like force people, not only at my school, but Black people of the entire country to vote. That's why I've been talking to SGA presidents, presidents and pole marks of different fraternities, sororities, coaches, my head coach, baseball coach, basketball coach, basically kind of really harping on their students and their players to vote for this upcoming election. And my coach is having kind of like a march to the polls event. And I think little events like that will really help lead the way. And also SGA is doing a stroll to the polls event this weekend as well. And I think just things like that, little events and voter registration, everywhere you look, on campus, off campus, I think things like that will really help this year.
Great. What's going on in Atlanta? How can we drive people to vote at Morehouse and the AUC?
With our sports program, actually, I'm the president of our student athlete advisory committee. And one thing that me and the committee worked on was getting a Your Voice is Your Vote initiative going. So basically, we sent it out to all of the coaches and like had their players join the Zoom, and we had a special guest basically inform each player, like all the players in the athletic department, about voting and just different voting topics. So that was one thing that was really good for us as a team in the school. But also like what we've been taking advantage of is social media. So like we just kind of been like using our SAC page as like to post voting initiatives and just basically just putting voting out there, keeping it in people's face, and just kind of just urging them to basically get out to the polls. So that's kind of just been our main thing in Atlanta right now.
I think with the HBCU Buzz brand, we've just been trying to bombard people to register. The same techniques that our influencers use to promote parties, we've been using to promote getting out to the polls and getting people to register to vote. And I know, Isaiah, I know you got to get ready to go. So I kind of want to start with you with a few closing remarks and just kind of speak to the camera, speak to everyone that's watching on the Zoom, on the streams, on the Facebook, the YouTubes that are watching this right now, and tell them why it's so important that they should vote. They should get out and vote, why registering to vote was very important, and how we can mobilize to get the Biden-Harris ticket into the White House.
The system has been set up for your participation. And if you participate in the system, you get a chance to not only voice your views, but you have a chance to enforce your views by the people you put in the seats who represent your views. And the only way you're going to get your views and your needs met is to put people in the seat who represent and understand your needs. Now, if you elect not to participate, because it is an option, if you elect not to participate, then that means you have no voice, you have no concerns, and you have no views. And when you don't participate, this is a system that is set up to wipe you out. I'm going to say that again. This is the game, fellas and sisters. This is a system that is set up that if you don't participate, it is set up to wipe you out. The only way you get your needs and your wants and your wishes met is to show up and participate. Those are your two choices. That's what the system has granted you.
Powerful, powerful. Okay, thanks for having you. I'm so glad you came today. I hope everyone opened their ears and listened as my parents would drag and be like, hey, did you hear that? Did you hear that? So I hope they heard you. Matt, I want to take it to you and kind of just talk to the
Thank
people.
You. I got to run.
I want to give you a chance to tell everybody peace and love. Thanks a lot. Matt, I think you're on mute.
There we go. I'm off mute.
Yeah.
All right. What'd you say now?
I just want you to talk to the American people, talk to the HBCU constituents, give your piece about why this election is so important and why everyone should run to the polls and what's at stake.
Like Isaiah said, this is our future. We can predict our future. You know, we have say, and our vote is powerful. And if we get out there, like some of the young brothers said, you know, going on Instagram, everybody loves to be on Instagram. Like that's a great platform to go out there and encourage everybody to vote. We can control, you know, we can control who we put in office by voting, and that's the most important thing. And like Isaiah said, you know, you can choose to vote or choose not to vote, but you know, voting right now is the most important it's ever been, and we have it's our time to really change the world and you know, see some of the things that we want to see, you know, in America.
That's powerful. Okay, well, I'm glad you came today. Hopefully, like I said about Isaiah, just like my parents told me, I hope they heard you. I hope they listened. I want to turn the floor to some of our students to kind of just say their piece, and then you can kind of peace out to everyone that's been listening. Bam, you talk to me.
Yes, sir. Pretty much kind of like what I was saying before. I think Isaiah and Matt said it the best. Basically, we have, like I've been saying before, we don't have a choice. We have to get out there. Our future is definitely in those polls. I believe we have the power right now, actually, but we have to do it together. Like, we have to be united. We have to get to the polls. We have to vote, because the future of this country, as a Black man, America, and as Black people as one, is in jeopardy. And that's why I believe this 2020 election is so important. And we have to get Biden and Harris in office.
Amazing. Amazing. Morehouse, talk to me.
This election is definitely important. We can definitely change the direction of our country. But you mentioned them, like mobilizing, and mobilization takes coordination. So I definitely believe like everyone should get their loved ones and their families out to the polls. Like, make sure everyone like in their family can get out and vote. Make sure everyone is participating in like grassroots initiatives within their own communities to get out and get the word out to everyone to vote. Like, this election is definitely like extremely important and at the top of the list right now. So, you know, our vote is definitely our voice, and our voices should definitely be heard. So I'm just going to encourage everyone that's on this live to get out to the polls and vote so we can change the shape of our country.
Thanks. Really appreciate that. I think for me, just to kind of wrap up my spiel on this entire conversation, I just want to let everyone know that HBCUs are not only just the heartbeat of the Black or African American community. I think what we as African Americans or alum or students of HBCUs need to realize is that putting someone like Kamala Harris in the White House not only means access, not only means representation, but it definitely means resources. And for someone like me, who when I was an undergrad, I didn't have access to a lot of resources that could, help me level the playing field, that for me is what's at stake. I want that for the next generation coming in. I want that for, our current HBCU students, and I want that for everyone that can benefit from that. And just seeing someone like me in the White House again is what's amazing. So that's my spiel, and thanks everyone for joining on to this call today. I love my HBCU family. I love the conversation from you guys, and let's stay connected.
Yes, sir. Thank you for this.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Have a great one.
You too.